What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for January 12th, 2026. Surprise, 4.6 is here on the PTU, and, well, Evo, and they may have even fixed my most hated bug. Oh, and night vision is on ships now, so that's pretty exciting. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, so stop by and say hi if you haven't yet. I always enjoy seeing you guys over there. No sponsor this week, so if you guys are really enjoying the show, first off, just get subscribed. It goes a long way to helping out a channel when you do that. So with that said, let's get into those patch notes. All right, we start out on Monday, where they started the week with a really surprising message of the day. Not only were they working on a hotfix, which I think was expected by this point, but they also had plans to release a PTU, and they just said a PTU. No numbers, nothing like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this not the first time since we had a roadmap where they didn't tell us what to expect in the next patch before dropping it? 4.6, this section of the roadmap is completely empty. Nobody knew if this was 4.5.1 or 4. Or something else. No one knew. And then on Thursday, we had a Hotfix Central update where, this is a quick one, if any of you have played 4.5 during the PTU phase or any period of time over the last couple of months, you likely came across an audio issue where things got kind of crackly and then you would crash the desktop. They tried to fix this before the holiday, but didn't, and pushed the patch out anyway, and this hotfix seemed to get that solved for us when we played. I did a little fleet with about 10 people, and no issues there, even with multi-crew. So if you aren't playing with a crew because of this bug, you're probably free to give it a go again. Then on Friday, we had a 4.6 Evocati patch that is still running right now over the weekend. So not much we could say about it, but let's start out with, I did an hour-long breakdown of this on the TV channel, so if you want to hear my experience a little bit more and go deeper into how things work with this Evo patch, go check that out. But for this, we're going to keep it pretty short and sweet. Number one, they're doing another event right away. I'm not complaining about that. It's actually pretty surprising and pretty cool. This is one where the people of Levski are getting sick and coughing a lot. They find out that it's mold, and the UEE is going to come in and help. Sound familiar? Regen Crisis? Anyone? Like almost a carbon copy of the story there. And then it's another event where things happen to NPCs where they have zero effect on our day-to-day in the game. I always found these stories to be, personally, I'm just going to say horrible. I hate them. It really upsets me because I've played MMOs before and they do very similar things to this, but it also affects the player in some way and it makes you care. So why should I care? Right, rewards. Now, we don't know what the rewards are yet, but this is very similar to a combination of like resource drive and supply or die from that standpoint. There are 4 tracks. The top one, make sure you're listening here, is your personal track. The bottom 3 are transport, collections, and defense. Those are the names in Evo. They might change. Each track has 4 rewards. Now, each of the 3 tracks have 4 rewards. Or I should say each track has 4 rewards, but the bottom 3 tracks, transport, collection, and defense, go as follows: 10, 25, 50%, and 100% completion. You must complete missions of that type to gain points for that track. For example, you need to do transport missions to gain transport mission points. Okay? Now, you just can't do the most meta thing anymore to finish these missions like resource drive was. You gotta do one of those 3 to gain each one. Now, with that noted, these are shareable. That means if you were going to get 600 points for a transport mission, everybody you shared the mission with gets 600 points for your transport mission, and you have to hit 10,000 to finish that track. So if you do this in a large group and help each other out, you can do it much faster. What you cannot do faster, what you cannot share, is your personal track progress. So this also has 4 rewards: 30%, 70%, 90%, and 100%. This only goes based on what you personally contribute. So if you share with 2 other people, so there's 3 people in the mission, you will get a third of the points that you would have if you completed it alone. I hope that makes sense. So in order to fully complete this event track, you have to do all the types of missions that you can share, but then you personally have to do what's in the bottom of this post here, which is like 25 missions of one and 25 missions of another, or whatever. 50 total missions if you count the points up, divided by the points you get. 50 missions is what you basically need to do. Okay, what's not in these notes? New salvage missions that I haven't tried yet, so I can't tell you much, that do seem to have some reputation. Mining missions that also have reputation, and these have mining missions for both ship and hand and vehicle gems. They're generally not that exciting on their own, in my opinion, but what we saw last year with Scrip and things like Wicklow is they can certainly be setting up for reputation-based rewards that we heard about in the 1.0 conversation at CitizenCon 2024. Lastly, night vision on ships. This is a thing. Right Alt L will turn it on, and it's very effective. I don't have much else to say on it because it's hard to do this without showing you, but the ones that it worked on, because not all ships have it right now, I enjoyed it. That's why it's not like openly public, is because not all the ships have it. They're not ready for feedback, that kind of thing. Same thing with the mining missions, by the way. They're not ready for feedback, so they're kind of in the notes, but not really. Then for bugs, they finally changed that 140 bugs thing at the top, and this time it says 80. And I went through the list, and the first one wasn't even correct. It was a issue council report for a QV station inventory missing, but the bug was listed about a different ship or something like that. So a lot of the other bugs seemed quite minor, some important fixes, so feel free to check those out, see if anything affects you. And yeah, that was the patch update. So really crazy, really actually awesome. When was the last time you had a patch? In January, right? So I don't have anything really bad to say on that front. I just love the fact that they're doing that, but what I don't like is the way they're doing it. I just don't like the storylines that just don't really matter to the player. Very weird. So with that, no roadmap, no monthly reports, so we're going to go right into other updates. All right, and as always, we start out with a sneak peek, and this is kind of out there as the Hermes already. I don't follow leaks and things like that, so it's apparently just known that yeah, I don't know. I know you guys have typed it in the comments before. It is a cargo version of the Apollo, and I have no clue who needs this, who asked for this, or who wants it. As someone who loves cargo ships, I don't get it. So I wonder what they might add to this to make it special, to separate it from other cargo ships, because I feel like they're going to have to do that, right? Because they have to make this worth your while. But yeah, the tractor beam kind of gives it away. The tractor beam placement could be one of them, because it is the perfect placement, in my opinion, on where it should be. And yeah, I just prefer cargo ships that are external, for one, and much easier to move stuff in and out of. To that point, if you really look closely towards the back of the ship, it absolutely looks like they fixed that the airlock that was needed for the medical side of things. This one doesn't have that issue, so that's pretty cool. Subscriber promos are next. This one's actually pretty interesting. Subscriber promo as a subscriber promo, because it's an extremely old asset in terms of concept art, at least. This was shown when Star Citizen 3.5 was a thing 7 years ago. I'll leave the link to the newsletter below so you could just like look back in a time capsule, because yeah, 7 years ago, man. Regardless, it is cool looking. A light helmet is absolutely a zero use case. It just has no use case, right? Until we get the armor updates. So sometimes in the next 12 months, maybe, right, Chris? Right? Remember that? 2023? Yeah. The $10 one is concept art from 7 years ago, the yellow helmet. The $20 one is a red version. There was a blue version out there, if I recall, as well. But yeah, it's obviously cooler because it's red, and I'm glad both levels get something similar this time. We've seen subscriber promos where the $10 sub gets clothing and the $20 sub gets something awesome. So this is really nice. I prefer this. Thank you for doing that. I actually really like that. And of course, there's a pack available as well. They also stated that the image is work in progress and the actual item might look different in game. So if you want to wait before purchasing anything until you really see them, you've kind of fell in love for the helmets, just give it a little bit and then make sure it's what you want, right? Buyback tokens are next. Just a small PSA. We shared this post a few weeks back, but the first buyback token has been delivered. So you can use them now if you need to. If you don't know what a buyback token is, CIG lets you turn in any purchase that you made at any time for store credit, but they don't let you repurchase it right away for that store credit again. They let you do it 4 times in a year with one of these tokens. So you can return a big ship that's never coming out for store credit and get a bunch of small ones if you want, or whatever, right? Skins. And then when the big one actually does come out, you can use the buyback token with store credit to retrieve it. That's basically how it works. Dev posts. Weapon swapping. This is in the patch notes of 4.6, but this is a bugger issue I've been dealing with since as long as I can remember. In the last year, given the type of content that we've had, so much of our time is spent on foot now with CZs, Hathor, the Worm, the Snake, all that stuff. That weapon swapping, especially from Medgun, causes your gun to switch back or not fire, and it's just awful right now, right? It is the worst experience in FPS, in my opinion, by far. In this clip that we're showing here, if I killed that last player, that was me winning a 1v3 for an executive hangar. That was upsetting. I have no idea what Zach has posted here. I have no idea if what Zach has posted here will fix the issue, but this post is meant to say he took a crack at it finally and is trying to fix it. Time will tell, but I certainly hope that will be better. All right, guys, that's this week in review. Obviously, not a lot of stuff going on. It's early in the year, but hey, 4.6, they're doing a patch early in the year. That's really awesome. That's really great to see. I'm so happy for that, and I got nothing but good things to say, right? That they seem to be going on the same cadence. The grind for that 4.6 thing is the big feedback in the Evo patch notes feedback section. People are like, why are we doing super long grinds in a PTU? We're not going to get the feedback that we need to make sure everything is working. I agree with that, 100%. And yeah, also, I've been playing it. It feels like it should be on open PTU or like Wave 1 or whatever, like where you can show it now. There's really no issues with it, but I also appreciate the fact that they are taking the weekend, letting it sit, seeing what sort of long-term issues prop up, and then patch it, up to everyone during the next week or so, let's say. It's probably pretty healthy. So once again, feeling pretty good, pretty positive about things. Hate the storyline, but whatever. Who really cares? Hopefully the rewards are cool and worth grinding for. I will say that whole reward track thing seems like a good attempt at kind of working out for people who solo and people who don't, but we'll see how it works out. It looks like it's going to be pretty difficult to complete this track without friends. So we'll see how the feedback goes with that and if things change in the future. But with that, as always, guys, like the video if you liked it. Hit subscribe if you're enjoying Weeks in Review. Comment on anything we talked about and anything we might have missed. And yeah, with that, I'll catch you guys in the next week. And yeah, hopefully we're showing you this PTU because there's some pretty cool stuff in there.